transferable steps does Nicole follow to ensure an effective progress report conference? Cool. Scene.
Hi, welcome, Mrs. Rollins.
Hi, Ms. Johnson.
You're Jezebel's.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
nice to meet you. So first, I'm so glad you're here. I'm just really, truly so excited to talk about Jezebel. First, before we begin anything, is there anything, I have an agenda, what you would want me to add onto the agenda to make sure that we get there? Any concerns, anything you want to talk about?
I'm really concerned about her math, but also she keeps saying that there's a kid next to her who's talking a lot.
Okay.
And I just wanted to talk about that because I think it might be distracting her.
Okay, great. We'll make sure we get to that at some point. That's very important. So first I want to start talking a little bit about Jezebel. I know Miss Mel, you would say the same. Jezebel is just really great to have in class. She's always smiling. She seems to have many friendships in Bates College. I know her teachers really like her and love her, and she's really fun to talk to. She's always a kid in Bates, especially at the end of the day, that wants to help sharpen pencils or organize the classroom. So she just feels invested in being at school. We just really and truly appreciate her being here. The one thing I would say before we begin talking about her academic progress is Jezebel kind of seems a little lackadaisical sometimes, just meaning she's kind of sitting like this, or might be staring, and just kind of seems unengaged sometimes. It takes her sometimes a few redirections in class to be sit up, track the teacher. So just be aware of that, and maybe you can talk to her at home about that. We've just noticed it, I think, across the board as teachers, that she's kind of seeming a little disengaged sometimes. I think if she starts to be more active in her listening and her engagement in class, it might really show in her work. So first of all, I just want to say where she's at. Jezebel is currently at a 53% in math. Her goal is to get to a 70% or above by end of year. So I just want to show you some pieces of her work, first of all, to kind of explain what we're seeing with Jezebel when she's in math. So here's an example of Jezebel's work. So in this, we were just doing adding and subtracting with standard algorithm. This specific problem is an addition problem. She actually does not have the symbol right here. And it would be regrouping. So that's what we're going after, regrouping with larger numbers. Every time we dig into a math problem, it is big problem. What are we looking for in this question? When I had her small group, she nailed that right away. She said the big problem is how many children are in the school total between the two schools. Next thing we look for is a representation. How does she visualize this problem in her mind? Again, I saw she had a great representation. One thing she was missing is the variable, what she was solving for. Usually you can put any letter for that. The next thing I noticed is she had a complete solve and she had a complete sentence answer. What I'm actually noticing is that in this specific lesson, we were going after explaining our thinking. So how do you tell someone else how you solved? So what she said is how I represented by regrouping the tens, hundreds, and thousands by the ones had 10, and then the tens had 12, and the 100, and that makes the 1,000 have on top of the 3 in the 1,000. So right here, what you're seeing is her trying to make sense of how she solved, even when she solved correctly within 30 seconds. What we need to go after, especially in 4th grade, is can we actually explain how we solved? So to kind of give you a better idea of what some of her peers are doing, I have a different piece of work that has the scholar name crossed out. And that piece of work is right here. So you can see this specific scholar has the same components as Jezebel. I would say this scholar actually went after labels and representation in a little more unique, more just a more mathematical way with mathematical language. And here's the thinking of this scholar. Sandra earned $31,518. I know because I did expanded algorithm, starting with the ones. And in the ones, I added 6 ones and 2 ones, which equals 8 ones. So you can see the specific scholar is going through each exact step of how they added, which I think Jezebel was trying to do.
You've given me clear academic glows and grows. Can you move to the next part? Because just for our time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So the next part is we have been pulling Jezebel one-on-one for a big chunk of time in math. We're going to continue to do that to support her in that way. One thing we want to provide for you at home is there are unit plans, and it'll explain all the steps to solve for the specific unit, and also all the scholar work for the types of problems she might be asked to attack. This is unit 1, which happened in August. This is unit 2 for September. Unit 3 for September, October, and this is actually our current unit that we're going to be starting right now to give you a head start on that. So again, I want to discuss what you talked about with the seating arrangement for her, the scholar next to her, but otherwise I want to make sure you take all of this home. On this cover letter, you'll see here is my number. I'm the lead math teacher. Also, Miss Yangambi is amazing. She teaches with me. She's actually the one who pulls Jezebel most of the time if you ever want like exactly what happened that day for her. Here's a list of all these websites that can help you. Khan Academy, which is just if she needs a reteach on anything. ST Math, which is if she wants to review any standards or wants to reinforce any standards. And then superteacherworksheets.com actually has some really awesome fluency, which is just those fast facts that I know she still hasn't gotten down totally yet. So let's talk about the seating arrangement, and then I can have Miss Miller share a little bit about how she's doing in reading.
Perfect. Let's pause there.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.